Hello again in another episode of Gunfire TV. Since the beginning of human civilization, people are asking themselves the same question. What is the best airsoft AAG for me in a price up to 125 euros? Really, even Sumerians were asking themselves the question. So, why don't we start with a legend? Not only in a world of real firearms, because I think it's the one of the most, if not the most, recognizable firearm in history, but also bestseller and never-ending first choice replica for many years. So, say hello to Cyma 28. This bad boy was with me as an airsoft player since I began airsoft. I had it for many years, not this one of course, then I sold it, then I bought again, so maybe in future I will have it also. Why? Because it's very light, it's very attractive as for the price, and even though it's mostly made of polymer, so the receiver, all the things that look like wood are actually made of polymer, but barrel, sights, magazine and trigger guard and of course fire selector are made of metal, even some parts made of steel like this top cover. It does not break very often, it shoots very nice as for the out of the box, and that's why it's been chosen by many players as a gun for beginners or a support extra gun which you have in your trunk during the skirmish just in case if your high-end, let's say HPA replica breaks. Because yes, HPA also sometimes is damaged. And now something with German accent, so say Guten Tag to JG69MG, made mostly of polymer as most of the replicas in this price, with high cap magazine made of steel. Now the stock folds and those guides are made of metal, so it's kind of sturdy. Fire selector is ambidextrous as in most of the versions of the original. You can slap it gently of course because made of polymer. Let's take this down, and if you take off this flash hider, like so, you may mount dedicated silencer that works on this bayonet type mount, or you can unscrew this nut and that gives you access to 14mm left hand twist thread for silencers or for example tracers. The battery goes under this polymer grip like so. Next beauty, also made by Jingong, JG68MG. I know it's basically the same gun, but it has some external features that make it look very cool. So we've got integrated suppressor, you can unscrew it like so, and as you can see there is a bit of barrel space if you wanted to replace it with some kind of a longer precision barrel, and the battery goes inside this stock, which by the way is very comfortable, like so. You just open it and there is a lot of storage room for your batteries. Also of course made of polymer. Time for AR-15 Specna Arms C03. This is the core version. So the receiver and the stack tube are made of polymer reinforced with nylon fiber. Barrel, front sight and those wrist rails are made of metal. Polymer magazine, it's a high cap magazine with this texture made of logos of Specna Arms. Gearbox has a quick spring change option. You don't need to take the gearbox out to change the spring, to replace it. And for example, the piston has all the teeth made of steel. So it's quite durable, and even though the receiver is made of polymer, it is really hard to damage these bad boys. If you're more into classical AR-15s, this is Cyma 609, made mostly of polymer. Of course, the front grip is also polymer made, and it holds the battery storage like in here. Of course, you can replace a lot of parts in every AR-15. They are very, very customizable. Gearbox, of course, V2 made of metal. And if you're bored with AR-15s, we've got PTW by D-Boys that only a little bit looks like AR-15. It's made mostly of polymer. The gearbox, of course, is made of metal. We've got here folding sides. The battery is inside this mock-up of a laser guide. The mag release is ambidextrous, so here and there. And the magazine looks a bit funky. That's because in original there is a different caliber than in typical AR-15s. But don't you worry, baby, standard mags for AR-15s get in very nicely, like this Specna Arms, so you don't need to buy a lot of these if you had some of these. And if you want to spare a few euros and you don't need aluminum made front, you may choose Flex Series by Specna Arms. This is made of polymer reinforced with nylon, of course. We've got M-lock slots all around for extra accessories. Very comfortable, high cap magazine, gearbox V2 with piston with all teeth made of steel, and of course quick spring change option. And last but not least, PCC by Well WE01A. Very long, very long, very long. So this is the moment when you hit the like, subscribe, or think about the comment after you watch this video. And of course, remember about the bell. So let's get back to the gun. It's PCC, so we've got AR-15 with 9 caliber magazine. This is mid-cap magazine made of polymer. It holds 100 BBs, and yes, it fits to another platforms like this, and yes, another kind of magazine like this fit this replica. So you may watch our video about this particular one when you finish this one. The battery, it's hidden inside this tube. You just take this cover off, and there's maybe not a plenty of room, but 11.1 600 milliamp battery can be stored here without any problem. The stock, of course, collapses, folds, and if you press this magic button, it jumps out. Of course, AEG, of course, gearbox made of aluminum, and inside there is a electronic unit which operate with the trigger. I would say that's quite advanced electronic as for this kind of a replica, I mean a price. Boy oh boy, wasn't it the fastest video about replicas up to 125 euros? You know why? Because there's a lot to choose on our website, and if you like, just leave a comment and we'll make another and another one and another one, because there's a lot of high quality and cheap replicas on our store. So see you again in another episode of Gunfire TV. And why am I holding this again? Because it's one of my favorites. Yes, I love CM028.